Sydney Sweeney ads. She's advertising jeans, but some are seeing and hearing racist Nazi dog whistles in these ads. Tell me why.
I mean, Rita, once again, why does everything have to be through the lens of a Nazi doing it? You know, she's a beautiful blonde woman, but they want to try to paint her as being a Nazi. And that's where it loses, you know, the meaning of what a Nazi and how evil a Nazi truly is when you accuse a beautiful woman like Sydney Sweeney for doing a jean ad as being a Nazi. So that's what's wrong with the media, and that's what's wrong with, you know, most people. If she was a 400-pound Lizzo impersonator, they would be cheering her on. But the fact that she's actually a beautiful woman and, you know, more than likely probably a white beautiful woman, you know, dare I say, that's why the backlash and that's why these Nazi accusations exist, just because she's beautiful, and they don't like that. They want ugly models in this model.
Yeah, well,
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back giving to a new video. Today, we're going to be checking out leftists losing it. This is going to be really good. CNN calls Manhattan shooter possibly white. Okay, this is going to be good to watch. I love to check the video out with you guys. Let's get right into today's video.
it's time for Lefties Losing It, and we've got a treat for you. The mad, bad, chronically sad Joy Reid was back on TV. No, not hosting her own show like she did for many years on MSNBC, the mental asylum masquerading as a news network. No, Joy was on Piers Morgan's show, and it didn't go well.
I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Piers, that I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations in your tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Mark. All right, Piers.
And of course, after being accused of playing the race card, Joy went about proving that's all she knows how to do.
And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations. But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president, why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find that charming and funny.
I find it hilarious because you're the one. You're the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald Trump.
You said Donald Trump is a white fascist.
Are so he is a well. I agree
and
with
yet
Mark
when Obama
Milley,
did the same
last
thing,
time I checked,
I'm not allowed to mention his skin color.
No, Piers, you're not allowed to mention Obama's skin colour, even when it's Joy who introduced race into the debate, because that's all a race baiter knows how to do.
Yeah.
Here, Joy proves she doesn't actually care about the issue. She just cares about attacking Trump.
Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported in 8 years?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, why don't you guess?
I don't know and don't care.
Well,
you
hang
tell
on,
me.
hang on. You don't know and you don't care. You've just given me...
Because it's not the issue. You're trying to make the issue the southern border.
Joy. You've just given me... Joy,
the point is...
Joy, given that you're obviously all over every detail of the Trump deportation policy, and given you were on the airwaves in America on a daily basis through Obama's tenure, how many people did he deport in 8 years?
I do not know. You'll tell me, I'm sure.
Have a guess.
But it's probably more than 1 million people. I'm quite certain.
Have a
because
guess.
I think each 2 million.
Right, it was 3 million.
Okay. And your point being what?
Your point being what? The point being you're an unprincipled hypocrite, Joy. I think that was Piers's point. Now to another lefty, a far more sane one than Joy. Bill Maher has had a realisation. Turns out tariffs didn't tank the economy or the share market. They didn't cause a recession. In fact, they're doing precisely what Donald Trump said they would do.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me. But that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all.
Oh, Bill, if you want to know what Donald Trump's tariff strategy is, then just listen to what he's been saying for decades. He's spelled it out so many times. But sadly, despite Bill being much saner than the average lefty, he does still exist in somewhat of an echo chamber. Remember when Megyn Kelly schooled him over and over again? Maher was ignorant of the most basic facts, like this.
Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
First of all, she came out before the sun had risen to concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Now, this next clip is delicious. Here is Steve Bannon calling out the activist journalist of PBS on PBS.
And the rhetoric about the judge, because a lot of lawyers say, you know, all of the rhetoric, calling for impeachment, the radical left lunatic, that this rhetoric, that's not the type of thing the president should say. He should appeal. He should abide by the court ruling and not.
Listen, by the way, was there any complaint from PBS or was there any complaint by the Democrats on the rhetoric used against the judges when the Roe v. Wade decision came out and they had to have police protection at their houses? I don't remember anything about the rhetoric being too high. You guys are so phony on the face of it. This is why we're defeating the left. The American people, as they see this, they go, these guys are a bunch of lying scumbags, which you are, a bunch of lying scumbags. You try to terrorize Supreme Court justices over a decision that didn't go your way.
I told you it was delicious. And talking about scumbags, here is Democrat Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. This might be a new low for the squad.
Halcyon people, this is all for you.
Welcome back. Now, there was a shocking mass shooting in New York City today that left 4 innocent people dead, including a police officer. But before the assailant was named, we had media outlets like CNN trying to guess the race of the gunman, desperate to know how white he was, even though the picture released showed he was not.
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white. He's wearing sunglasses. He appears to have a mustache. And that picture has been distributed to every police officer in New York City.
Yes, the colour of the 27-year-old mass shooter, identified by sources as Shane Tamara, was somehow hugely relevant to CNN. Joining me now is a comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, the media continue to disgrace themselves. Just when you think they can't sink any lower, they go and surprise you.
Well, I'm not surprised whatsoever. I mean, if you look at the media and you look at their track record, once again, I'm not surprised they wanted this shooter to be white. And the fact that he's not, I'm guessing that this whole entire event is probably going to get memory hold. And we'll probably not hear that much about it in the future, believe it or not, because there's certain narratives that they want to protect. So you look at CNN, they are the most dishonest media company that is in existence currently. So for them to accuse a shooter of being white when you can clearly see that he's not white, I'm actually not surprised whatsoever.
Now let's discuss a far more frivolous issue. Tell me about the outrage from the left, Alex, over these Sydney Sweeney ads. She's advertising jeans, but some are seeing and hearing racist Nazi dog whistles in these ads. Tell me why.
I mean, Rita, once again, why does everything have to be through the lens of a Nazi doing it? You know, she's a beautiful blonde woman, but they want to try to paint her as being a Nazi. And that's where it loses the meaning of what a Nazi and how evil a Nazi truly is when you accuse a beautiful woman like Sydney Sweeney for doing a Gene ad as being a Nazi. So that's what's wrong with the media, and that's what's wrong with most people. If she was a 400-pound Lizzo impersonator, they would be cheering her on. But the fact that she's actually a beautiful woman, and more than likely probably a white beautiful woman, dare I say. That's why the backlash, and that's why these Nazi accusations exist, just because she's beautiful, and they don't like that. They want ugly models in this model.
Yeah, well, because they're saying it's a play on words. The ad says Sydney Sweeney has great genes, and they're thinking about genes with a G. But even if they were playing up those words, if they ran that ad with Beyonce or some other person of colour and had exactly the same line, no one would be having a meltdown about it. It's just really is quite bizarre. Now, let's go to California, and the lawlessness there is out of control. The shoplifting is out of control. We've now even got cookies under lock and key.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
Alex, we're used to seeing high-cost items under lock and key, but cookies and donuts now?
Well, Rita, I actually looked into this, and this is actually very common that they have to lock up the cookies, the ice cream, because when people are withdrawing from drugs, they're craving sweets. So that's why they have to do this. I'm not even kidding. That's why I was just reading it. And that is one of the main reasons. They've always locked up deodorant and, items that people could steal and resell. But now, because of all the people withdrawing from drugs, they have to lock up the sweets because people literally crave them. And it's really sad. So something that looks silly like that, it's pretty evil, the reason that they have to do that.
Well, it's also evident in New York. I've seen toothpaste and toothbrushes, all sorts of things under lock and key there. Let's check in on the fans of Stephen Colbert. This is in New York, holding a protest, and it was a rather sad little affair. There was about, 20 people there, Alex. They want him reinstated, but if this is the support they're getting, it ain't going to happen.
Well, no, I mean, his average audience age is 68 years old, and that was literally more people than watch his show on TV every night. So, I mean, Stephen Colbert, his show's going to get canceled. I wish CBS would just pull the Band-Aid off right now, because they're going to let this guy have a lot of runway to just demonize President Trump and just make bad content. So I want to see Stephen Colbert go on his own, because in this modern era, if he is funny, if he truly deserves to be at that spot, he can do it independently and still be successful. So, the proof is in the pudding. We'll see how successful he is after CBS.
I don't know how much longer they can keep this going, because he's not due to be off air till 2026. And he seems to be spending his remaining time on air just having a massive tantrum, bagging his own network. So I wonder how much longer they're going to be paying this enormous salary to him, plus his 200 staff, the fact that the show's losing around 40-50 million a year just to have their own network bagged. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of him a bit sooner than they were anticipating. Alex Stein, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Okay, this was actually very interesting to watch. I love every moment of it, like every single moment of it. I love when leftists losing it. That first black lady who's bringing the race game into Piers Morgan's show, because she's always talking about race. When she was working for MSNBC for like 10 years, she was always talking about race. Everything about her is about race. She liked playing the victim card as a victim every single time. So she's not someone who you are going to take serious. You understand? She's not someone you're going to take serious. Who else again? The shooting. It's a CNN. I don't know what I'm going to call them. They always assume every single time. It's not just assumption. Like, why in the world would you tell me this man looked like a white man? It makes no sense. It makes no sense of you telling me that man that during the shooting in Manhattan, he looks like a white man. There's nothing white about the man. That's the first thing. There's nothing white about the man. Who else again? Did she talk about the musician guy who was hitting that drum for Palestine? Okay. Kudos to you. Keep on hitting it. Comment down below, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.